Life is pain. Oblivion alone yields peace. You call me stranger. I call myself salvation.
The love of a god is not a blessing, it's a scar.
If destiny herself beckons me, then I shall greet her like an old lover.
There's gotta be more to life than making mistakes and making up for your mistakes.
I'm the paragon of risk and reward. Behaving is more of a suggestion.
Fate is an offer I intend to reject. You don't know me. I'm unpredictable, bitch.
I don't need to be a paragon to help save the world.
I came back for a reason, and I am not stopping until I find it.
I will solve the cataclysm, and I'll solve the mystery of myself, too. 4 paragons, 4 keepers, 1 stranger. Huh. Odds are in our favor. Now let's go save Andake. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Transplanar RPG Arc 6, Episode 2. I am your GM and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she, and I'm going to pass along introductions up and over to Dare.
It's really unfair that I had to go second because you ruined my good bit. Hi, I'm Dare, resident non-troublemaker who does innocent work everywhere. Find me on all parts of the internet at Dare to Dream RPG. I'm going to throw it over to Erica now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica. She, her pronouns. I play V. I've never been a problem or had consequences ever, not Scherzo. And you can find me on Twitch and other social media that I exist at Erica New Girl. Come hang out with me when I stream. It's a good time. You just come watch me. And I will pass it on to Humna.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Humna and I use any and all pronouns and I am a TTRPG performer. Today I will be playing Jaran who uses they, he pronouns, who I think maybe is the only one here who's willing to admit that they're a problem. That's weird. That's very strange energy for me. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all the different projects I'm a part of, and I will pass it on up to Austin.
I'm Austin. You can find me on Twitter at SailorSctAustin, at SailorSCT My pronouns are he, they, or she, whichever you'd like to use. I don't have a preference, that's why I list all of them. I play Abiku Ishtar, whose pronouns are she, her, and she likes to sit down.
Abiku does like to sit down. We do have an Abiku sit command, so you use !sit whenever Abiku sits down, which might happen in the session. Who knows? Not promising anything. So yes, thank you everyone. It's so good to see all of your beautiful non-existent faces. You are, of course, tuning into The Second Stranger, which is Transplanar RPG's main D&D campaign. But what is this channel? Who are we? We are an all-transgender, POC-led, 100% homebrew Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live-streamed actual play campaign set in Andake, an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world. Yes, we do stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. So thank you so much for tuning into our main campaign. This is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Arc 6, Episode 2. And our main campaign, The Second Stranger, is, of course, sponsored by Dimitri Opines and his company, Explain Trade. You can follow Dimitri on Twitter at Dimitri Opines. That's at DMITRYOPINES. And Explain Trade is, if you don't know by this point, a negotiation skills training consultancy believing in the power of D&D and transplaners to grow, tell great stories, and lift up our community. Explain Trade trains negotiators for government, big companies, NGOs, and offers e-learning courses for individuals looking to get a better deal from your boss. Including me. So if you want me to stop, if my employees want me to stop making horrible British accents, maybe sign up for Explain Trade. Check them out at explaintrade.com. That's right. I would like to give a very personalized shout out to our Patreon Paragons. These are, of course, patrons pledged to our highest tier on Patreon. Y'all are amazing. This includes Azura, Brooke Bright, Bradley, Charles, Chiakres, Cora Eckert, Hat MP, Lex Slater, Marvelous, Mitzi, Moonflower Tea, Purple Mouse, Risa, Rue, Scruffusus, and Target.
And now, saying this to Dare for the first time, Grandma Erica needs some help remembering what happened. Can you please refresh my memory?
I'll try, because, whew, boy. After their own misadventures in Dabatati and Kirtal, the Equilibrium Guidance Group returns to Dr. Luso's homestead to prepare for their next missions. The group split up again, with Gentle, Jaran, Abiku, V, Rev, and Costas heading north to the Moroz, that's us by the way, while Oka, Sitlali, Voska, Dewey, and Dr. Luso themselves head to Jukai. That's not us by the way. What will this new adventure bring? Only time will tell. Use the exclamation point recap in command and chat for a full recap of Arc 5. I almost did it. Almost made it. I'm going to throw it to Humna now to explain this lovely title.
Yes, so Just as a reminder to you all, the titles of our episodes come from lines of poetry written by marginalized writers of all different stripes. And the title of our episode today is Torch to a Block of Ice from the poem Yuyin in the volume Not Here by Hugh Min Yuyin. And the full verse reads as follows. Beloved, if what I want, more than anything, is absolution, why do I insist on a different future? In my dreams, I am foolish, holding a torch to a block of ice. I think we were there, he and I, beneath it. I think we survived.
Thank you for that, Humna. It is a beautiful book of poetry. Not Here. I highly recommend everyone check it out. And with that out of the way, let's get started with some content warnings before we hop into the session. So content warnings for this session and our campaign in general may include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, monsters and monstrosity, death of loved ones, apocalypse, trauma and grief, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, and references to sexual entanglements. My cat is making it really hard for me to read these very serious content warnings because look at this rancid sausage. Look at him. Anyway, let's get started. Weave be sapped, come weave be gone. Weave be withered from dragon tongue. Blood of blood spilled claw or fang. Gesh be bound by dead queen rain. Only when one soul outlast shall dragon's bane come true to pass. At night, Bolshaya used to resemble a rainbow constellation of shanties woven from hide and bone, buildings sculpted from ice and light, the heady smell of fish stew punctuating the permafrost. Outdoor looms used to brace against massive dowels punching out of frozen earth. A perennially incomplete tapestry, snaking between shacks and gurs, tents and fences, walls and poles, the story of Bolshaya's entire history laid bare for all to see. This monumental tapestry, the biggest one in all the commune, was once the threaded jewel of Moroz. 5 miles long, 25 feet tall, strung from innumerable tons of wool. But now, the tapestry of Bolshaya, this living, breathing document of the capital's entire history, just like the rest of the city, is shredded. The cataclysm cracked Zima Lake open. Half of Bolshaya fell into the murky abyss, and the other half was forever changed. Gentle, Jaran, Abiku, and V. The 4 of you shimmer into existence atop a raised dais in the center of town. As reality glistens back into form around you, you see the splintered remains of the commune's capital. Shacks cobbled from borrowed Kyrian wood. Hollow husks of buildings, shattered chunks of ice, and the people, sweat-faced and downtrodden, clustering around paltry bonfires for warmth. But perhaps the most striking feature of Bolshaya post-collapse is the crevasse. Miles long and dozens of feet wide, slashing through the heart of the city like an assassin's dagger. And the tapestry, that warp and weft of Bolshaya's history, is nowhere to be seen. There is work to be done. Jaran and Gentle, Bolshaya was your home, the place where you became friends, where you grew up, hurt each other, kept going, learned from your mistakes. Abiku, the northernmost reaches of Moroz beckon to you, promising clarity about the muddled miasma that is your memory. V, you seek your own destiny here, truths about your lineage, resolution to a long journey of vengeance and remembrance. And of course, all 4 of you seek an ancient tapestry woven by Jinka Da, former paragon of Nitabuza, currently in the possession of the Chromium Order. A tapestry with desperately needed answers about the Stranger War. And now as your party stands atop this elevated dais looking down and around at this shattered capital all around you, I want to know who each of you are. Let's refresh our memories here, eh? Starting with V. Who are you? What do you look like as you're standing atop this dais? And what have you been up to in the days leading up to this excursion?
Yes, you see V, Noxurzo, a elf woman, a sorcerer with draconic ancestry. You see her white skin, and more so than ever, you see sort of dragon scales, green dragon scales along the edges of her face. She has white flowing hair. It's much longer now than when we first met V so long ago. It feels like almost a year ago. And she's got Kelly green and purple streaks in that hair. Her eyes, one being that same Kelly green in one eye and the same purple in the other eye, as she holds Scott and Nectus as a paragon inside of her. She is wearing, for the first time, you've seen her in a fur coat, like a green fur coat that she uses for the extra warmth here in Moroz. It's not as much coverage as you would expect maybe someone needing. There may be just a little bit of magic at play with her draconic resilience to the cold. And you see perhaps maybe on her fingers a couple of plain bands of perhaps silver and gold, maybe representing some relationships, because while she was away, she was visiting her wife Lotus in Ducal in Geelong, and also representing her relationship to Rev, who I assume is not far away on the dais. She's also probably been to Nepal a little bit, checking on a business that was probably wrecked during Arc 3 and hopefully is being a little bit rebuilt. Maybe checking in with how things are going in Nepal, because she is the paragon of Scott and Nectus, which is the god of Nepal, the championship. And yeah, I think she's also been catching up with Oka about what was going on with the other party during their time apart, and has learned some things. But she's got even more so. I know, like last arc, she was a bit more emo. She's kind of felt some things about her destiny, and now she's got sort of a "I'm gonna take care of business" attitude here. She seems more alert. She seems more going about her business than we've probably seen, and she also has these threads, these green and purple threads around her body from her time in another plane where she almost dissolved. And when she gets real upset, you can see these things starting to glow a little bit. You can see these threads in her body glowing a little bit, and we'll just leave it at that. So that's how we find V at this moment.
Yeah, I think like as we like pan away from your very focused face, right, your mismatched eyes taking in the shattered remnants of a once beautiful, booming commune capital, we're gonna pan like away from you and toward Jaran.
Jaran Gather is a green dragonborn. They have this dark brown skin that transitions along the edges of their face, their arms, and the rest of their body into this dark green scaled skin. They have long flowing white hair and green horns on their head. And similarly to V, for the first time, I think in a very long time, Jaran is also wearing winter clothing today. We can see that Jaran's armor is now lined with fur, so like on his chest piece, on their bracers, etc. You can see like this white fur kind of poking out from underneath it to keep them warm. They have a fur-lined hood that is sort of pulled over their face right now with little holes for their horns, and you can see sort of icy blue Morozan threads threaded through their horns. And they have the skin of a bear sort of wrapped around their shoulders in order to keep them warm as well. And as they sort of step off of this dais, their blackberry purple eyes kind of like scan the horizon, and their tail kind of lashes in a way that there are a lot of very complicated emotions that Jaran is feeling in this moment. It's the first time that they've been back home since the cataclysm, since all of the things that happened on Adolin. And it's terrible seeing Bolshaya like this. But it's also a sense of relief, I think. There's a familiarity to it, even in Bolshaya's current state, even in the fact that none of these buildings are familiar to him and the landscape looks drastically different than it used to. But it's still home. And so I think when Jaran first arrives on the dais, he kind of steps off of it and just kind of immediately just sinks down into the snow on the ground, sort of gathers a whole bunch of it into a snowball, turns around, and tosses it at Gentle.
I'm a monk. Can I catch this?
You know what? Yeah, this counts as a deflect missiles moment.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just gonna catch it and throw it right back.
I think Jaran was not expecting for Gentle to have such quick reflexes because I don't think we've actually had a chance to really see the way that Gentle has improved in that regard. So Jaran is caught off guard and just straight in the face.
I'm sorry.
And Jaran just like bursts out laughing. I think it's this like very like pure natural laugh that just kind of like comes out from it. It's like deep within his chest.
I think you're okay, right? Like,
I'm fine, Gentle.
okay. Just wanted to make sure. You can't sneak up on me like that and throw stuff. I dodged a bomb like a month ago. This wasn't gonna be a problem.
I suppose that's true. I didn't realize actually how much you have gotten better at dodging snowballs since the last time that we had a snowball fight.
We should do a big snowball fight at some point after we save the world. Be nice.
We should. And I think while this has been happening, Jaran has been gathering snow while talking to Gentle, takes a snowball and throws it at Abiku.
The snowball just splats against Abiku's face. And I think like as Abiku's features are obscured by this splat of like icy frost, some of the particles like drift through the wind and float past Gentle's face, who has gracefully dodged all missiles. And as we look upon you, Gentle, what do we see?
You see, Gentle, a surprisingly taller than anyone realizes, Triton, like 6'2". They are not wearing anything too dissimilar. They're wearing the trademark big red cloak that's always fur-lined. They have a purple sort of sleeved tank top. The only real difference to their outfit is it actually has sleeves now. And big baggy patchwork pants. But otherwise, they same old Gentle as always. There's a mask at the hip. Adorned in red, gold, and black to represent Utapathe. But otherwise, yeah, Gentle is Gentle, and walking right next to them is, I assume, a direwolf with an attitude.
Yes, Bud, the former direwolf pup, now direwolf juvenile. Adolescent, we might say, comes up to like your waist, almost to your chest, Gentle, and you're over 6 foot, so that's saying something. And Bud looks like looks like a wolf, but just blown up and huge. A big, dark, like grayish fur. Like their big clawed paws are sort of like kneading at the ground a little bit. They're looking around at all the snow. And even though direwolves are very at home in Arctic conditions, Bud looks a little out of place. Like their big, black, lychee, glistening eyes are just like blinking. They're taking in all of this stuff. Their ears are flicking this way and that. Their big wet nose is going. They seem a little overwhelmed by this brand new place. They're still shaking off some of the magic particles that are floating off of the teleportation dais a little bit, like they're not used to it. And despite their kind of like cold shoulder attitude toward you these past couple of days / weeks, Gentle, they do huddle up against you because you are the one point of familiarity in this strange new place for them. Speaking of which though, Gentle, what have you been up to in these past couple of days?
I mean, we spent a decent amount of time actually visiting the Port of Ravens. I promised a friend tea a while ago, my friend Root, and also just to sort of show them how big Bud's gotten and stuff. But that was like a cool little stop off for a while, and then we went back to Dr. O's and probably helped around where we could. I've been trying to just win Bud over slowly with making a lot of nice meals, which I assume everyone else at Dr. O's appreciated as well.
Yeah, I think it's been a slow but gradual process of earning Bud's trust back. And I think they have, they will now obey your commands when you say come, don't get too far away, maybe snuggle here tonight, right? But they won't do anything more than just listen to a single command or two, right? Or listen to your suggestions. So Bud's just sort of
teenagers work.
Yep. As they're up against your legs, you hear Bud's a low kind of anxious growl beginning to rumble in their throat a bit as they look around,
Hey. Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't like this place, Gentle. It's a lot colder than Dabathati was, and I guess the court was kind of cold too, but achoo!
Oh, okay. So I can if you want a little scarf or something, I can absolutely get one for you. But also
No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. I'll just freeze to death. It's fine.
Do you have a favorite color, Bud?
I like dark gray.
Okay, I'll get dark gray. I will get you a dark gray scarf. And also, here's this, and it's like a little piece of a dog treat made for calming and dealing with anxiety and stuff too. I make them for people. I need to make them for Bud as well.
Fine.
It'll help.
Bud snaps it up and makes a big show of reluctantly eating it, puts it down, lets out a big sigh, gets down and starts chewing at it, right?
Are you feeling any better?
And Bud is intentionally not responding by chewing around the response.
If you need more, just let me know.
And at this point, I think some of the snow that was maybe on Abiku's face has been wiped off or sloughed off and falls onto the ground, right? And as we pan up the considerable length of Abiku's body, Abiku, tell us what we see.
Abiku Ishtar is the tallest woman you've met. She is she's dark skinned. She has white locks. She has a cloud on each face that is moving. I think the one that got hit is snowing for a little bit until she wipes the snow off her face. She has white eyes that are there's no pupil or iris or anything. It's just if you MS Paint poured white into an eye is what you get. And she wears light blue dress, and she's wearing a rather large homemade coat from a Yeti. From the last time she was here. It doesn't smell anymore.
Into it. And Abiku, what have you been up to in the days leading up to this excursion?
Mostly getting this coat ready, if I'm being real. She definitely she got it out, right? And was we're going to the cold place again, and you take my coat. And I don't know who, but someone was honey, please treat this thing.
I think it was probably Dr. Aluso's very gentle suggestion. He sort of talked around it, tried to be subtle about it. But yeah.
That's pretty much it. Very distinctly not hanging out with people.
Into it. And I think as we pan away from you, Abiku, we see stepping out of the shadow of your massive height of 8 feet or something, we see Costas. who is, of course, an elf. But as always, Costas has a hood drawn over their head, like a furred hood to disguise their features. They just look like a traveler you might see like high in the mountains, just bundled up with no discernible features. Like they could be a mannequin for as far as you know, like a thick kind of leather coat, big, pants stuffed into these like big, like hiking, like boots with like snow treads on like lashed onto the bottom. But as like they sort of like adjust their hood a little bit, like opaque white cloud comes out from like the mouth area. We pan up and we see the shadow of this hood a face. Half of it is beautifully handsome with this like dark skin, like these like piercing eyes, right? Even like a soft, like smirk curved on one side of their mouth, and the other side is ice. Is made from like actual ice, right? And like that side of their face doesn't move at all, like doesn't really express or anything like that. Also doesn't even have any hair coming out of it. Costas is half ice, half person. And Costas is sort of like grumbling and grousing, and they sort of say up to you, kind of sideways out the side of their mouth, Abiku, I'm really glad you finally treated that Yeti hide. At least our tents this time around don't have to stink to high heavens.
Well, it would not have stunk if you did not eat so many beans.
But my beans have nothing to do with... It was the Yeti hide, Abiku.
Well, there's only one way to test it if you have beans now.
Not in front of the new people, okay? What did we
You watch
talk
out,
about
that one
before we
is-
set out?
That one is throwing things? I don't know why, but you must be careful.
It's a childhood game. That's Jaran.
But you're not
actually.
children.
Well, I know. Maybe he's got a child like whimsy about him or something. I don't know. Fucking read between the lines, Abiku.
Does he want to have children?
No,
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. But no, listen.
What are
I'm
the
also.
lines?
And Costas like gestures for you to lean down, kind of away from the rest of the party.
I like.
You have to like crouch. It's like the meme of like how to talk to a short person.
Yeah,
I like crouch.
Oh, so I pick him up.
Hey, let me down. Let me down.
Oh, sorry. I just forgot you don't like that. Yes?
Just you
I
come
like
down to
crouch
me.
down.
Remember?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Listen, I'm also from Bolshaya, okay? So I know of Jaran Gentle. I don't actually, I mean, we were never friends, but there's a lot of nasty
Were you mean to
rumors
them?
about Jaran. No, we just didn't, we just weren't in the same, commune of the commune, know what I mean?
No, are you sure you want me to then?
Yeah, I wasn't always like this. Okay,
Oh.
Abiku, as you know, like I wasn't always, but listen, you have to watch out for that Jaran kid. Okay? Because even before all this stuff happened with his arm and whatever Oko was saying, listen, Jaran was single-handedly responsible for you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. It's bad luck to say it in the commune. I'm not even gonna. You know what the number one rule in the commune is? Basically the only rule, because everything here is shared.
You don't talk about things that are very important and dangerous?
No. Don't hoard. Greed and selfishness is the worst thing you could do in the commune.
Because
You know what
it
that
is
kid
hush
did?
conditions.
Yes, exactly. And we have to share everything. That's the spirit of the commune. We'll hold hands. Everyone's equal here. Yada, 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 yada. But just listen, I don't trust that Dragonborn farther than I can hawk him across the lake by his tail, okay?
Oh, that is not very far. You are not very strong.
I'm pretty strong. You know what? I'm just trying to watch out for you, Abiku, okay? Because
No, I understand. I would watch him very closely. I'll see him coming before you. I have better eyesight.
Good. Yeah, listen, just keep an eye out on them for me, okay?
Abiku stands up and just starts staring at Jaran.
Yeah, nice. Costas straightens up and also sort of glares over at Jaran.
Jaran will lean over to Gentle and in Morozy very quietly whisper, "Why are they staring at us?"
I mean, there's 3 reasons. We are also from here. We have you have a track record, and I mean that with all the love in my heart. And you have a track record here.
Right. Right. I
Yeah.
forgot that Costas would know about
Yeah.
that. And I think Jaran just kind of like nervously just kind of like rubs his hand along his right arm, which he has a right arm now. It's a prosthetic. Over the course between Dabathati and being here in Moroz, Jaran had spent his time in Raso in Nepal in order to see Kane, to spend some time with them and to relax and process a lot of the things that happened. But during that time, he also met up with Dewey. And as we know, Dewey is an artificer and is very good at making prosthetics. And Dewey made Jaran's new arm for them. So the prosthetic is made of like these thin metal filaments. So it's essentially in the hollow shape of a hand. So there's no actual like substance inside of it. You can see right through it. And it blossoms out from his elbow from this black lotus flower that is made of obsidian. And so the actual hand itself kind of like shoots out from within this flower as if it's blossoming out of it.
Yeah. And I think like stepping out also from the dais is like a shadow that falls over V as Rev sort of like shrugs off the hood that she's stitched on, or actually she's manifested it out of magic because she's also a paragon, of her like feathered cape. And we see this tall, not quite as tall as Abiku, probably around the same height as Gentle actually, drow woman with this like kind of like ashen, like dark gray skin and mismatched eyes. One is black and one is gold. She has this like short, cropped, I think like black hair that at this point is starting to mullet a bit. Like the back part is starting to grow out a little bit. It's like shaved on the side. So she has kind of like, it's in the process of becoming a mullet a little. She hasn't quite decided what to do with it because she hasn't gotten Oka to cut it yet. And her, like, she's got a really chiseled jawline and these like high, almost like regal, noble looking features. And this like thick feather cape like coming out to form these pauldrons over her broad shoulders, right? And like this black leather armor that goes all the way down to these like big black kind of leather boots. She sort of like leans into you, V, as you're also like taking everything in, a look of concentration on your face, and she just goes, "You know, I really wouldn't trust Jaran either if I were you here, V."
Yeah, no, and like I think when everyone else was like glaring at Jaran, if you pan just a little bit to the right, you see V is like the whole time has been glaring at Jaran. And when Jaran was throwing snowballs, you could, if you looked at V's hand down by her side, you could see that like heat emanating from her hand to do a fire spell. Like if you could have touched her hand, it would have been like 100 degrees. It was like burning and ready to like throw some fire. Just saying.
I think, I mean, everyone swears, he swears he's changed, but yeah, you know, old dog's new tricks. Let's keep an eye on him this entire journey, yeah?
Yeah, no, it takes an untrustworthy person to know an untrustworthy person, and I do not trust that person.
That means a lot coming from you, V, actually. And yeah, I take umbrage with anyone who tries to sacrifice one of the paragons for their own selfish gain. And Rev sort of says that louder, so it's not just V that can hear.
And also, V is also speaking a little bit louder, murders the loved ones of said paragons.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of getting my loved ones murdered. Actually, the whole reason why I'm back.
I think, okay, Abiku leans down to Casas again. So is this going to be like the dinner then?
Yeah, I imagine that this entire journey is just gonna be like the dinner, but just extended. Why is that one raising their hand?
I don't know.
You got a problem, Gentle?
No, well, yes. Hey, before we actually, like, we're all here together on, like, a job, and I know there may be some higher tensions, but maybe we should have an airing of grievances, like, above board, so everyone is at least on the same page, so there's not a lot of this the entire time, because, like, this is gonna be exhausting.
Gentle, we don't need to. I don't think that would be necessary.
Fair. If we're gonna be mad at each other, we should just say it at least. I don't like when people say it quietly.
All right, I'm mad at Jaran.
That's a little better, actually. Thank you.
I do not have any feelings or opinion on Jaran. I was told to be careful. You did throw a snow at me. I do not know what that was about, but I was worried it had like a knife in it or something at first, but then it did not. So you're still at like, there's no score either way, but I was told to be careful, and you did throw snow at me first thing, so it's a little confusing. But I am not mad at you, but I also do not like you. You are like a stranger.
I'm sorry, Abiku. I thought you were familiar with snowball fights. I would never throw a knife at you, just so we're clear, everyone. And Jaran just
really?
At everyone.
You would never throw a knife at any of us.
No.
Do you promise?
If that will make you feel better, Rev, yes.
You know what would make me feel better, Gentle? Thank you for bringing that up, actually, is if this one swears, crosses his heart in front of all of us right now in plain view to not fucking double cross us ever again.
Rev, I can do that for you, but just so you're all aware, I am already bound by a blood oath to Oka not to do that again.
Where is it?
Where is what?
The oath.
Jaran holds out his left hand, which is where Oka had cut his palm open in order to enact this blood curse. And I imagine that the scar from that is still there, magically, as sort of like a sign of its existence and of its still being active. And he just kind of holds it out and shows Rev.
Rev takes it, and as she does and like sort of looks at it, you feel the weave tighten a little bit around her as she's like casting some sort of like identify spell or something to make sure that it's actually like a binding blood oath. And like as she does, Costas is peeking like around Abiku's shoulder, being like, yeah, do that magic thing, yeah, verify it, verify it, right? As like Rev is looking at it, and she just goes, fine, I guess that counts. But I'm not keeping a single eye off you this entire journey, you hear me?
Do whatever will make you feel better, Rev. Look, I'm here to make up for what I did, okay? I'm trying.
Only time will tell. And Rev lets go of your hand, right, and like leans away from you and turns, right, keeping an eye on you, but like turns to go back to V.
I think V the whole time while Rev is like trying to turn away, continues to stare at Jaran, and I think they probably make eye contact for a little bit, like as Rev is moving away, and there's just like that feeling of like, I think what Rev just said of like, I'm keeping my eyes on you, I think V is saying it without saying it, just with eye contact, and you almost see like the Kelly green eye just glowing just a little bit. Because probably Scott is probably like that part of V that's also like really loving this sort of like, oh yeah, and like you're not gonna get me this time.
And I think as all of you are just, there's like some tension that's like settled in with the group, and you're all just like looking at each other with, you know, like Gentle's trying to diffuse it. Doesn't want this to be happening, but it's there. All of you hear a voice calling out towards your party. Equilibrium. Hello. Thank you so much for coming. Excuse me. Oh, Elder coming through. And we see Elder Pohaku coming through like this like mottled kind of disheveled looking crowd, accompanied only by like a single aide. Like every other world leader is accompanied like by fanfare. Like Kane specifically was like borne up onto a float, you know, every time like they enter an alliance meeting, like onto a float with like beautiful naked people dancing around them. But Elder Pohaku just has like a single assistant, like this cherry-faced kind of like youth who's rather chubby, who's like helping Elder Pohaku navigate over the icy ground with their cane. And this is of course an older satyr man. He's got this like tangled kind of like hirsute beard knotted into sort of like a shirt, woven into a shirt like around his front, like a tunic, and down his back in like a traditional Morozan way. So you just sort of let your hair grow out and protect you from the elements. And he's like leaning on like a knobbled wood cane, and his aide is helping him along. Hello. Thank you so much for coming. Please follow me. Hello. How was the journey? The zap in?
I think V is the immediate one to like almost snap over and be like, instantly her face like warms up and like, Elder Buhaku, this is so lovely to meet you again, friend. I'm so glad that our paths are crossing, and like extends like a hand to hand shake, but like also sees like how precarious with the snow and the cane in the snow. So instead of like reaching for the hand, just like maybe puts her shoulder or hand on his shoulder and like helping like stabilize and just like giving like a gentle squeeze on the shoulder and like just very warm to him. It's good to see you. We have so much to discuss.
Oh, thank you. What a warm welcome. Please, let Moroz and hospitality welcome you. Pachi, please.
And the age sort of fishes some, I think, dried cheese curds out from their pockets and offers it to all of you.
V definitely would like take a couple and like pop them into her mouth.
I will offer back some candy I made.
Oh, that looks delicious and homemade.
Yeah, I make a lot of little treats and stuff. Yeah, these ones are just like kind of hard candies that help with just general easing the nerves and stuff.
Well, thank you. Don't mind if I do, Pachi, please, in my later candy sack. Please take some curds. You, Jaran.
Elder Buhaku, it's nice to see you again. And Jaran just kind of like inclines his head very respectfully.
It's been quite a few years, young person, since you've been back home. You and Gentle both.
Yes, after the cataclysm, we needed to find somewhere safe to be, and, well, our travels took us elsewhere, but we're home now.
Well, I'm terribly sorry about your parents, young one. We have a memorial set up past my tent for all the souls lost during the cataclysm.
Thank you. That's actually a relief to know, to hear that someone did something for them while we were gone.
Of course. The only way the dead live on now that the after's gone is in our hearts, our memories, and our stories. That's how they continue to glow in the now. Speaking of stories and memories, though, it's such a shame about the Tapestry of Bolshaya, lost to that crevasse. All the dowels were ripped up out of the lake during the great cracking, and in went the tapestry. Such a shame.
That's decades of work lost.
Centuries, even. There are a couple of brave souls trying to get down into that crevasse to fish it out, but I'm afraid our efforts have been futile so far. But in brighter news, hello! You're big!
Yes.
Abiku Ishtar, was it? Of course, yes. You were with the Paragon of Nitbuse a couple months ago, coming up to Bolshaya.
Yes, yep.
Congratulations for all of your successful assistance in helping Voska solve the unspooling.
Yes, I am very good at helping. I've helped a lot of people.
The Paragon's best assistant on this journey.
Yes.
My anxieties are already put to rest.
Yes, have you tried going in the hole to get the tapestry thing?
I personally have not. I think I would slip and die. But a couple of young, strapping Morozi adventurers have tried to get down there and fish out the tapestry, but like I said, it hasn't yielded any fruit yet.
Oh yes, always the assistants.
Yes. Assistants are very much well needed. Isn't that right, Pachi? Yes, feed me a cheese curd. Thank you. And you, of course, Paragon of Scad and Nectus. I feel great about having you on our team, and the Paragon of the Raven Queen. It's so good to have all of you here. Please, follow me to my tent.
As Abiku definitely just mutters to herself in mostly obscenities.
Costas leans in at that, actually. Because I think like they're right next to you. They like glommed onto you a little bit, right? As like a, a friend. Whoa, Abiku, that's like the first time I've heard you swear that much.
Oh, I forgot I taught you these swears. I'm just making sure I still know what you know. I don't really talk it to anyone.
No, I get it. I mean, that Elder Pohaku literally didn't even acknowledge me. It doesn't feel great to be in the shadow of the Paragons, know what I mean?
Well, it does. You literally were in my shadow. So,
Well, now it's awkward. Now we're walking toward the tent. I don't want to bring it up.
No, it's okay. I mean, I get what you mean. I was upset about that, but like, it's whatever. It's the whole thing. I mean, we don't have to die when the world ends, so.
That's true. That, you know what? Let them have their little horse and pony and elk show, because we'll be the ones, I guess, picking up the poop when the circus is out of town.
Well, someone has to tell the story, right? When it's all done.
Yeah, I guess someone does. And I think like we pan over to where V and Rev are walking and following Elder Pohaku.
I think V, as soon as the Elder turns his back to V, V's like cheerful, warm demeanor like becomes a little bit more cold. And I think she's like looking around and just making note of like anything that looks suspicious. Like she does not want to be caught by any type of surprise right now.
Make a perception check.
All right, first roll of the new arc.
Ooh.
13.
Okay. A mid-average roll for the first arc. Give it up for 13. It's been a while since you've been back to the commune. V, you strike me as a worldly traveler. You've probably been all places, right, given your long life. This is the saddest state you've ever seen any aspect of the commune in. Like this place, Bolshaya, used to have like massive buildings of glass and ice, and like lights were suspended within the ice that would like light up like a miniature night sky in the evening. And during the day, like children would slide around on ice sculptures, and there were like these huge tents and festivals all the time. This looks like a little bit of a ghost town. Because a huge crack runs through literally the middle of the town, and is so massive that it's swallowed up almost like a sinkhole, like the equivalent of like half of the entire city, which is massive. So what remains are like dilapidated shacks, like a bunch of things have been like cracked and ruined and just broken and shattered and splintered everywhere, tents and gurs and shacks and huts, and ice sculptures have like crumbled, because you figure like, you see like tiny little like cracks, hairline cracks all over the place, and like a bunch of shattered like chunks of ice just scattered about. And even though it's been almost a year since the cataclysm happened, like Bolshaya has not fully repaired itself, right? Because these ice sculptures take years to craft, and they have not even begun like 10% of the rebuilding effort here. So a lot of the housing here is temporary, like imported gurs and yurts from Kirtal, right? To like help like bring Morozans back up onto their feet, right? You recognize the craftsmanship and like the kinds of wood like from your time in Kirtal are quite familiar here.
I think V takes all this in and also like just takes one more look at the rest of the party, at Abiku, Costas, and then Gentle, and then like one just like quick burning glare at Jaran, and then maybe like just heads looking forward towards where the Elder is going.
Throughout this whole walk to the tent, Jaran is making a pointed effort to avoid eye contact with everyone else, and it's just kind of like burning a hole into Elder Pohaku's back.
Yeah.
Do I notice this?
Yes.
I think I like whisper Moroz, if you need anything, I can help. I'm here for you. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, Gentle. Thank you.
Of course.
Bud also continues like padding along. A couple of people huddled up around bonfires like lean away when they see Bud, right? Like this like massive dire wolf, which is usually a wild animal up here in Moroz, like a wild ass animal, right? And there's no like collar on Bud or anything, right? Gentle? Because I assume you took Sybil's off.
I did take Sybil's off. We can get him one while we're here, but his old one doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Too small. And he definitely doesn't have a leash. So he's just sort of like free walking alongside you, which is making some people nervous. And by the time we get to this, it's not grand, but it's a slightly larger tent than the other tents here, but it's by no means flashy at all. It's still a very humble tent, like nowhere near the size of Taktoa Kagan's war tent, right? The elder sort of like pauses in front of it, like his little helper, this cherry-faced, chubby person, opens up the flap and welcomes all of you in. And you see a very like warm, homely tent with like nice like hide rugs on the floor, as well as these like wooden ribs erecting the canvas flaps of the tent upright, and like a little magical fire burning in like a low wooden hearth in the back. There's just a single very low round table and like cushions for you to sit and kneel on. Elder Prohaku gets helped, his down onto their knees and sort of settles in, and Pachi starts to put on some water to boil in the corner and gestures for all of you to sit. Please, make yourselves at home. I'm very terribly sorry, but the council tent for the elders was also lost during the cataclysm. And as you all know, I'm the only remaining elder on the council.
Abiku sits.
Abiku sits.
Jaran will also sit down as well.
If there's enough room for Bud, then I will sit down as well.
You'll definitely like find a spot and sort of like sit straight down, cross-legged onto a cushion.
Yeah, Rev and Costas also join, and the tent flap is buttoned shut again by Pachi, and Elder Prohaku just sort of goes, so it is my understanding that your party, your contingent of equilibrium, is in search of a tapestry of sorts, but not our tapestry, no?
Yes, no. Not yours, but we are looking for. You said that question weird, so it's hard to answer.
Oh, my apologies, Abiku. You're looking for a tapestry that's not Bolshaya's tapestry. Yes or no?
Yes.
Great.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct, yeah.
Wonderful. Well then, please, ask away. I'm sure you have many questions. I have a long and storied knowledge. Some people joke that my beard could be perhaps the second tapestry here. But I will lend as much knowledge and wisdom and folk intelligence as I can to aid you on your quest.
Well, have you heard of a tapestry about the Paragon Wars, Elder?
I have. As far as I know, it's in possession of the Chromium Order.
V lets out a little smirk. And what do you know about the Chromium Order?
I know what everyone knows, and then a little bit more. I know that they are one of the, if not the, most powerful adventurers guilds in Andake. They have a stellar reputation. Their headquarters are a couple days' travel away from here on sled to the northeast. Across the lake, actually, Abiku, from Jinka's Grace, that I directed you to. I know that they've been doing nothing but trying to help the people of Andake since the cataclysm, offering us materials to make shelters from, game, when our people couldn't hunt, fish, fresh forage, berries, medicine, that sort of thing.
So it seems like you were saying we will find them and they will just let us look at this tapestry and it will be fine.
Well, you do have to be a member of the Chromium Order to enter the organization. They do occasionally offer tours of the space.
Do you have a brochure of these tours?
I do, actually. And he gestures at Pachi, who reaches into a trunk. He like Pachi pops open a trunk, and it's sort of like shelves come out, sort of like a salesman briefcase, you know what I mean? And there's like various brochures in each shelf of like various adventurers guilds all across Andake. We see like the Iron Flask, right? And like the Gold Horseshoe as like names of guilds. And they pluck out one that does not have very many brochures left, seems to be a very popular one, called the Chromium Order. And the logo is of a fist, and each 5 fingers on the fist is a different color. There's black, white, green, red, and blue. Plucks out this brochure and hands it to you, Abiku.
Oh, I will be real. I was being a little bit of a shit, but this is actually very useful. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Could I look at that, Abiku?
Oh, we have plenty.
yeah.
Pachi, just the rest of it. One to each person. And like each of you is handed a brochure.
Oh, why do you have so many?
Oh, well, you know, every capital is also a recruiting station for the various adventurers guilds of Andake. Technically, the Hounds of Mercy is an adventurers guild. Are you aware of that? I don't know who handles your paperwork, but you're registered.
Is there a benefits program to that?
There should be. Actually, I think I have your brochure here too. Pachi.
I would love to see that.
And Pachi digs through the briefcase, like, can't find it, opens up like a false bottom and digs through a bunch of discarded brochures and pulls one out that's like stained with dust and like some sort of soup stain. And it's a Hounds of Mercy brochure that looks like it was made like 15 years ago. That features like a hand-drawn portrait of Mercy on the front, but like her hair is short. You know what I mean? Like she looks much younger, and it's like Hounds of Mercy, and it's like handwritten. You open it up, and she's just like, come hunt monsters, and it's like written horribly. It has not been copy edited. Like it's promising things like benefits, right? Like dental, full coverage, health insurance, like vacation time. Like none of this is true. It's completely false. Pachi hands it to Jaran and Gentle.
Jaran looks at it, gives it a glance over. He never got vacation time.
We never got any of the. How hard is it to start a guild?
Oh, well, there's quite a lot of paperwork involved, and after the cataclysm, well, are you looking to start one?
Back burner question. Who did Mercy date who would have done paperwork? Because Mercy wouldn't have done paperwork herself.
Wooming.
No, it was too long, too old to go.
I think as that's being passed by and V like catches a glimpse of like the illustration of a younger Mercy, like in Jukai, she mutters, "Oh, that looks familiar to me," and that's it.
How loudly are you saying that?
Yeah.
You can probably hear it, but she says in Jukai, so she thinks no one else can hear it or understand it.
I think Jaran gives Gentle a look at that, like, you heard that too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Putting a pin in that one for a second. Jaran is gonna look down at the Chromium Order brochure and kind of like leaf through it really quickly, and then look back up at Elder Pohaku. Elder, if I may ask, this tapestry belongs to Moroz, to the Morozi people, no? Why does the Chromium Order keep possession of it?
Well, a lot of adventurers guilds, depending on the country they're registered in, they keep some of the treasure that they find on their various excursions and quests for themselves. This tapestry is one such treasure.
I see. And the Elder Council, are you interested in retrieving it for Moroz, or?
Well, that's sort of fallen to the back burner, I have to admit. I'm currently immediately concerned with rebuilding Bolshaya and making sure that people don't starve to death here.
So, if we get it and bring it back, that would be good for you?
Yes, but the Chromium Order does have a legal claim to the tapestry. We could try.
Which is, they found it?
Yes. There's kind of a finders keepers rule a little bit here.
I look at V. What if we find it?
I'm very good at finding things and keeping them. I think while this is talking, V's like scouring anything for like the mention of Sievert in this brochure.
He's right there. So he has like he has his own page. Sievert Wrathstone, like he's got his like very much like a CrossFit profile. You know what I mean? Kind of like black and white graphite.
Like the high school
he looks
senior
buff.
pose.
Yeah, no, like a CrossFit trainer profile a little bit. He looks buff as hell. This white dragonborn man, very handsome. So for those of you who haven't seen Sievert before, he is in this like finely pressed charcoal gray suit, and these like ridged antlers sprout from his brow, and these like whiskers. I think he's like a beard, but it's kind of like Asian dragon style, like kind of like whiskers sprout sort of like from his face. His eyes are like deeply cold and blue, just like ice, right? And one of his canines, as he's sort of like smirking, in this picture, is capped with like a gold tooth. And the bio for Sievert is like Sievert Wrathstone has been the Fang to Tehran for the past, I want to say, let's say 52 years. Talks about like his like accolades, right? Like how he cut his teeth as a young adventurer. He's always been enamored with stories of like treasure and helping people, and he clawed his way up in the ranks of the Chromium Order to be Fang to Tehran. In the brochure, you also learn some stuff about the Chromium Order, if you want me to lore dump a little at you. You learned it as a combination from Elder Pohaku telling you, and also through the brochure. You learned that the Chromium Order is kind of an ancient adventurer's guild. It's been around for a while. It used to be something else entirely. Legends say the origin of the Chromium Order is in the wake of the 1,000-Year War. But then they just sort of like died out a little bit. Like there was like it's unclear in the brochure and in Elder Pohaku's retelling why the order faded and just sort of like was lost to the annals of history. But sometime after the Gambit of Queens, picked up again, right? And was reestablished as like a proper adventurer's guild. There's a ton of dragon lore that I've been working on that I don't just want to like brain dump spew at you right now. But I think that's all you would know from the brochure. Yeah.
Does this feel okay? So, can I beg the hamster on the wheel in my brain to be like, is the description of stuff even accurate? I want to go dunk on these dragon nerds.
Why don't you make a insight check on yourself?
I shall. 17 plus 9 is a math number.
26. As you stare down at this brochure, you start to feel a little woozy.
I look at Costas. I'm going to pass out, do not worry.
What? And you pass out.
Yeah.
To other people, it looks like you just completely blank out. But to you, it's like your soul's been yanked out of like the back of your neck with like a fishing wire, and everything around you, like the tent, Elder Pohaku, the hide, the snow, just like flies down and away from you, like you're having an out-of-body experience, right? Like you're flying backward through like a thin train tunnel, right? Everything just gets like very narrow, very thin, and very distant and far away from you. And then everything gets big again, and poof, you like slam back into a memory. You are not in control here in this memory like you were back in Taktoa Kagan's war camp. This is just a series of images and a series of like sounds that you hear and like sensations and smells, right? Abiku, you find yourself in a rough stone tunnel, all rocky crenellations and the fizz of raw magic sparking in the weave. You're standing, back folded against a jagged wall, your ears and eyes straining to take in as much information as possible. You peer around a corner, and you glimpse a chamber. Hundreds of feet tall, thousands of feet deep, swarming with mages. Youthful mages, cheeks flushed with cheerful adolescence, swooping through the air, practicing martial forms on the ground, lounging on rocky outposts, washing their hair in pools at the base of a mighty thundering waterfall. This chamber is massive, big enough to fit an entire township. You stiffen as several draconic mages walk past you into this chamber, but they don't spare you a second glance. You're all titans here, after all, and your gaze is drawn toward a series of elevated platforms in the center of this chamber where you see older mages teaching younger ones how to shift. One by one, Lines of nervous teenagers step up to a rocky ledge, eyes squeezed shut, fists clenched, brows furrowed in concentration. One of them, you see, spreads their arms and whoosh! Feathers pop up from their skin, prickling upward through their pores. A tuft of fur balloons, bristles out of their neck. Their body elongates, claws sprout from their belly, and this teenager now, in full draconic form, writhes in a serpentine manner through the air, a roar of laughter vibrating through this chamber, airy and free and thunderous. And on that roar, Abiku, we push in on your eyes, wide and focused, as you're taking in this training chamber as a spy for young mages of various draconic orders, learning how to become warriors, how to become adults. And in this close-up of your eyes, Abiku, we see pupils. For the first time, your eyes unclouded. We see your gaze with iris within them. And then you're back in your body. And on that, I think we're going to take a quick 10-minute break, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in so far. We'll be back in 10. Enjoy the fan art reel, and Pisho! Hello, Transplanar friends and family. GM Connie here with a very exciting word from one of our incredible sponsors for Arc 6 of The Second Stranger. Roll is an alternative to complex virtual tabletops, instead serving as a people-first online play and creation platform for TTRPGs and all sorts of social narrative play. With a focus on high-quality video, intuitive code-free creation tools, and simple, seamless gameplay for everyone, Roll is the easiest place for you to run your games online. Also, with Roll's drag and drop sheet builder system, you can create content for any game you want to play, even your own homebrew hacks. Tell the stories you want to tell. Roll empowers you to do so. Also, Roll is 100% free for anyone to use all the time. So sign up today and run your next game at playroll.com. Roll, you can play with us. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Transplanar Arc 6, Episode 2. Let's hop right back into it. Some content warnings to be aware of for this session, and this campaign may include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, monsters and monstrosity, death of loved ones, apocalypse, trauma and grief, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, and references to sexual entanglement. So with that out of the way, let's hop right back into the session. Abiku, you are jolted back into your body, right into full awareness of your skin, your bones, your fingers, the heat from the hearth and the magical fire, Elder Pohaku's voice still talking, Costas' hand on your shoulder, stabilizing you, your eyelids flutter back open. What do you do?
I look at Costas. Oh, how long was it that time? How long was...
5 seconds?
Oh, that's good. Cool.
What'd you see?
She just...
Abiku, hey! What'd you see?
Oh, it was some kids in a circle doing some coming of age stuff.
What? Huh? I think Elder Pohaku has been talking during this entire time, and
Abiku
you're kind
doesn't really...
Yeah. You're having a sidebar with Costas right now, and the Elder...
Oh, excuse me. It appears, would you like to share with the class what you're discussing in your corner?
Are we in a class? I did not realize this was... I am sorry, I did not bring a note.
Oh, right. I've forgotten about your literal language. Would you like to share what you and... Oh, hello, Costas. I almost didn't see you there behind Abiku. What the two of you have been discussing?
Oh, just how dragon kids became adults.
I think V is definitely like all of a sudden perks up at that.
Dragons are extinct.
Yeah, supposedly.
Yes, supposedly.
Yeah, Jaran, it's a whole thing. Elder Pohaku, my apologies. For context, Abiku, is it okay if I share this, Abiku, or do you wanna... The stuff that we know about you?
I was dead for a very long time and got brought back to life.
We think...
10,000?
Just about. We think she might have been from the Age of Giants and Dragons, given the memories that occasionally come back to her on random occasions.
Oh.
And I think V would, if like no one else has any, I think V would then take the moment to be like, Elder, this Sievert, do you have a relationship with Sievert?
Yes, we're very friendly. Fang to Jaran is the title of the leader of the Chromium Order. Jaran is, of course, the leader, but he doesn't really get around much. We've never really seen him. Sievert handles all the day-to-day operations, has really good relationship with Bolshaya, has been helping us with our rebuilding effort, sends resources and supplies every fortnight here.
Oh, it's funny because I actually met Sievert a long time ago, so I love to see that he's being so helpful to you and your community.
Oh, good. Well, if you're old friends, then he's probably your way in. If you want to maybe ask him for the tapestry back nicely, I'm sure he would oblige. He's a very reasonable man. And Abiku, I believe you and Voska and Costas also met Sievert. He helped pinpoint the exact location of Jinka's grace for you, yes?
Yes, I think we paid him though. He was not he didn't do it for free.
Well, of course, they have to keep the fairy lights on somehow.
Can we tell that V is being a little shady right now with the whole being friends with Sievert thing?
Would y'all like to roll insight, and V, you can contest it if you want with a deception or a performance check?
I would, I'm going to contest it because V would be trying to.
I got a 14.
I want to know what Erica got.
A 28.
Damn it. I got a 25.
I also got a 28. Which is the highest I can get without critting. I think I just give V like the look kind of thing and like smirk and then go back to looking at the Elder.
Yeah, in terms of anyone else, Sievert, V, great friends. This is great. We're gonna go fine.
Other than Sievert, are there any other potential ways to get in good with the Chromium Order? Is there anything that they particularly respond to? Any customs we should know of?
Oh, those are great questions. They do traffic in gold, but also, as always, information. Valuable magical items they do enjoy. And they're always interested in a good story. I hear that Jaran, the big leader in charge there, is always very fascinated by stories about dragons. So if you have a good one that he hasn't heard before, might get you in good.
Have you ever met this Jaran?
Never. Ever in my life. I know he's at least as old as I am. He's been around for some time.
V's gonna like shift the mood for just a little bit. Like, Elder, I feel like I need to warn you that, often where we Paragons go, things can somehow get a little messy. I don't know why this would possibly get messy whatsoever. However, I just want to let you know that I just really care for you and your people, and I hope that you understand if there is collateral damage, we will do everything in our power to minimize. But I want you to know that it is possible that walking into whatever we walk to, there may be collateral damage.
I'm not sure I follow.
I don't know. I just want to cover all my bases. This is just consider this a little bit of the little fine writing at the bottom of the brochure, and like he's like holding the brochure that says like there may be certain dangers and risks of being a paragon, and wherever we go there seems to be assassins, there seems to be evil creatures trying to kill us. There's just things just tend to happen when you've got some paragons around, and we will protect you all. We just want to make sure that you're prepared for things to maybe get a little messy around here.
I understand. When you put it like that, yes, of course, ambient chaos follows paragons. That I understand. I thought the way you were phrasing it was you were going to stir up trouble, but that doesn't seem to be the case, so of course.
If I stir up trouble, it is only with the best of intentions.
Wow.
That's a flat-out lie. That is a flat-out lie.
I'm gonna keep your 28 deception from earlier and roll online with the dice roller because I haven't unpacked my dice yet. I got a nat 20 on the Elder's insight check. Let me literally.
I ain't even mad.
Looks you in the eyes.
Yep, Elder Pohaku looks you dead in the eye and just sort of leans in and says,
I understand completely that you are the paragon of risk and reward. But do remember, V. Noxerzo, that these are my people's lives you're gambling with.
I think V takes a moment, it really listens to those words. Trust me, Elder, I'm only interested in making sure that all loose ends are tied up in as neat a package as possible, and I will do everything I can to minimize the damage in that process.
Good. Make sure you do. The fewer lives lost in the wake of the cataclysm, the stronger Andake will be for it. We can't waste any time or energy tearing ourselves apart. We have to prepare.
I completely agree with you.
Good. Then I'm glad our priorities are aligned. Any other questions from the rest of you?
I'm good. Unrelated, I would like the curd recipe later, but that's not a now issue.
Oh, yes, Pachi, make sure to write that up for when our heroes return, victorious. Tapestry in tow. And again, I'm aware of the ambient chaos, but yeah, Sievert is reasonable. Chromium Order are good people. They're good folk. They do good things. I'm sure if you just asked, and explained the situation, they just give you the tapestry. Tell them Elder Pohaku sent you,
I mean, if V is friends with Sievert, then I don't anticipate that we'll have any trouble at all.
I'll put it this way. If I walked to their front door, knocked and said, "Hey, I'm V Scherzo, I'd like to talk to Sievert," they would let me right in, open their doors and all.
Perfect. Great. Well then, Pachi, why don't you fix up a little traveling pack for our crew? And you're welcome to stay in Bolshaya as long as you wish before setting out. Completely up to you. All right, I have to go drink some tea now. My old bones need some warming. I'll speak to you all whenever you need to speak with me. And thank you again so much for all of your assistant paragons and helpers.
Abiku decidedly stays quiet.
I mean, I'm a Hound of Mercy still. We don't really have a group name for everyone else yet.
Okay, well then, paragons and hounds for now.
I mean, I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
How about we go now, friends? I think our time has stayed.
Okay.
Abiku gets up and leaves.
Yep. Your group excuses yourself from Elder Pohaku's tent. And you walk outside into the brisk winter air. It is early bear at this point, and as we all know, Bear's End is when Adolin is. 40 days until the anniversary of the Cataclysm. The air here, the weave is fraught, it's frayed as you step out from the tent flap. You look around, you see these dilapidated shacks, you see these like low, mountainous, icy capped hills on the lake surface in the distance, and everywhere is just sweat, greased faces, bonfires burning low, spirits that are quite shredded, just like their precious tapestry. What do the four of you do?
As immediately as like she's sort of like outside and sort of out of the purview of the elder, she's gonna take her pamphlet of the Chromium Order and maybe just for flavor cast just a tiny smidge of investiture of flame, so her hand just ignites and the whole Chromium Order pamphlet just turns to ashes very quickly and burns away, and then her hand just back.
Were you not a fan of the pamphlet?
These people that we're dealing with are very dangerous. Sievert nearly got me killed several years ago. This is going to be fun.
Wait, so do a lot of your friends try and kill you? Is that what it's like around here?
Look, at 111 years old, you know, sometimes your good friends try to kill you. Yes. Hasn't that happened to you, Abiku?
Well, I frankly would not know. For all I know, a friend killed me, and that's how I got here.
I mean, in the hounds, friends. And I think Jaran just kind of trails off at that, remembering that.
Yeah.
So, that doesn't sound good. That's not how friends were defined to me when I learned the word.
Abiku, maybe this is a good time to just teach you a little lesson of like, sometimes people don't say what they mean. Sometimes there's sort of like, words have the opposite meaning of what they mean.
Why would you do that? That is very confusing to follow.
Well, you know, when I grew up in Jukai, where language is just kind of like that. So I guess...
No, that makes sense. I didn't, everyone's from somewhere different. I did not mean to disregard that.
But, the important thing is we'll get through this. They're not going to just let us walk on in unless we have a good, solid plan.
I thought you were friends with Sievert. Isn't that our way in?
That would be one of those times I said the exact opposite of what I meant.
Lying?
Some people call it lying, some people just call it saying what needs to be said in the moment to get you through this moment so that you can get alive to the next moment.
Surviving. I don't always agree with my fiance's decisions, but when it comes to Sievert, I let a few things pass.
That actually reminds me, just so I guess everyone here is aware, I feel like it's important to tell all of you, except for you, Jaran, that if I see Sievert, I'm probably going to try to kill him. So, I just want you to know where I'm coming from. I'm trying to tell truth more often, but it's going to be difficult to see him and not want to just make his life end.
Do we have maybe like a kill word? So like if we are just talking and we are almost to the thing we need, that like we can say to be like, no, we think we got it, and then like we say, and then it's like, okay, it's not working, so you don't like, because we got to get to the tapestry rug thing.
You mean like a safe word?
Yeah.
Yes.
How about I will make sure that we have whatever we need before killing Sievert.
I mean, as long as you don't want me to help you kill Sievert, I don't know him.
Okay, hold on.
Yes? Abiku holds on to her arm.
You have all been understandably upset with me for what I did, and yet, V, you're here saying that you want to kill someone? I'm a little confused. Now, Sitlali made me promise no more secrets. And you're all part of the party now, so I feel like that's kind of a two-way street here. So, V, what gives? Why are you trying to kill this Sievert person? I mean, Elder Pahaku said the Chromium Order is helping Moroz. Why?
That's a strange logic to bring to someone who went to the Chrysalis, which said they were just helping the people of Dabathati.
Did you not also go to the Chrysalis?
Did I not warn you after that to not go to the Chrysalis, and yet you did it anyway? Did I not tell you not to go?
You did, but I wasn't intending. I wasn't intending to have a conversation with the Chrysalis. When I went, I was trying to infiltrate them. I was wrong, of course. I realize that now, that apparently nothing gets by Adam. You can't sneak into the Chrysalis headquarters the way that I thought you could. But you all walked in there as well, V.
Yes, before we knew anything about the Chrysalis. And I learned, A, don't trust Chrysalis. B, they're probably going to get you murdered if you stay around them too long. And C, they will make you promises that they will not adhere to. What's this one? Is
Gentle, you don't have to. You don't have to raise your hand.
I know. Comfortability. If you learned all that about the Chrysalis, did you ever plan to go back and deal with it?
Oh yes, let me put it in my schedule book between I don't know, getting all those paragons or god shards, saving, going through a carnival, helping Rev in the court, winning a race, rescuing Manaya's parents. What else did we do? Oh, I don't know, save an emperor, save Oka's family. I don't know. Yes, I'm sorry I didn't have time in my busy schedule the past year to get all of this taken care of.
I do apologize, but Dabathati was in a really bad place, and I don't know if you had seen what it was like, and I'm not blaming anyone, but it could have gotten a lot worse. That's all.
I'll say this, I did not see what it became. I'll give you that. But I did see what it was early after this happened, and I saw a city that was not taking care of its people. The Chrysalis was feeding the poor and doing all these nice things. And so, I don't know, maybe perhaps seeing an organization that is helping people isn't always the best indicator that they're good people. That's my point.
Wait, are we talking about Chrysalis or things like for butterflies? Are we talking about
heavy sigh from V?
Like Chrysalis or We were talking about the Chromium Order. I am sorry, I got lost. I don't think I've been told everything.
Abiku, it's okay. Let me fill you in real fast. So the Chrysalis are a cult that I went to because they promised they can give you your ideal bodies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
When your
Yep.
face.
With my face is fine. My
No,
face
it's
is fine.
A beautiful face. It's a
Thank you,
beautiful.
but
He is very beautiful. They are very beautiful.
You don't have to be good. It's embarrassing.
They are beautiful, it's true.
Which and Costas clears their throat and like turns their like furred hood away from you, Jaran. They seem embarrassed when you say
People
that.
think you're beautiful.
But I don't care. what
Everyone
they
thinks
think.
you look very nice. You don't need to be. I told you that.
I'm not what I'm sorry. No. And like off the sidebar, I think Rev chimes in and says, whether we like it or not, and I don't. And her like gaze lingers on you, Jaran. We're in this together. My mess is your mess. V's mess is our mess. We can't go around just letting each other's messes fester. V, you know, I have complicated feelings about what you did with the Chrysalis and leaving Dabathati in the shape it was, and I told Oka after they came back how grateful I was that they helped clean up that mess in Dabathati. And now I think, well, we just have to watch out for each other, right? We clean up each other's messes. That's what paragons do.
Oh, we are not told paragons.
Most of us here aren't paragons, actually.
Everyone keeps talking like that, but we aren't all paragons.
What Equilibrium does?
Okay. Abiku is satisfied.
So, V, you still haven't answered the question. No secrets. What do you have against Sievert? Sure, let's say we can't trust the Chromium Order. Tell us at least what we should be ready for, what we should expect.
Anything I say at this point isn't for your benefit, Jaran. It's for everyone else standing here. As far as I'm concerned, I could care less about what happens to you. That being said, Gentle, Costas, Abiku, and yes, Rev, years ago, I fell in love with Sievert. I thought he was in love with me. We ran cons together. We did a lot of fun adventures. We were in the underbelly of Andake. And about 7, almost 8 years ago now, we were running a scam and a con, and we were robbing the tribes of Jukai of a very expensive, valuable item. And Sievert betrayed me and not only left me, but pretty much did everything in his power to make sure that I probably died trying to escape. And it was only begging for my life and promising to never step foot in Jukai again that I was granted one moment of not even forgiveness, but just the littlest amount of mercy to get my shit and get out of there as quickly as possible, and I've not gone back since. But when I tell you that this person, imagine what it feels like, Jaran, to feel like the person that you love very much tries to get you murdered on purpose. That's what Sievert did to me. And the Chromium Order, their reputation in the underworld of Andake, they're just as messed up and as any other group trying to get their fair share of power in Andake. If they're run by Sievert, all they want is to get ahead. I mean, I'm still learning about them. Apparently they're actually connected to dragons. All my knowledge before was that they were just some seedy group doing stuff, but now I've learned in this past year that they're doing stuff and maybe connected with dragons. Apparently, I might have a dragon for a father who might be associated with the Chromium Order. So that's what I'm interested in here. That's why I'm here.
This sounds personal.
If I'm going to die fighting the stranger, what we do here needs to be settled before I go.
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I will make sure you get to do what you need to, friend.
I appreciate that, Abiku.
I will make sure we all do. We all have something we have to do in 40 days or so.
I don't know that I can help you kill Sievert. As much as you may not believe me, it wasn't pleasurable killing someone for me. But I won't stop you. I'm here for the tapestry. And as long as we get that, you can do what you want.
Abiku, oh, I meant finding of your dad. I am not. I mean, if he tries to kill you, then I don't. Sorry, I realized I was not clear, and I wanted to be very clear. I was not speaking on the murder. I was speaking on finding your father, because that seems very important for someone to know their parentage.
V and I swore an oath almost a year ago that we would help avenge each other's injustices. So if V decides to try and kill Sievert upon meeting him, I will have to assist.
I will help as long as innocent people don't get hurt. That's what I can provide.
Huh. Didn't expect that from you, Gentle.
Why?
Well, I mean, your name is Gentle.
I mean, I don't want to hurt people. I really don't. And if we can avoid that, that'd be great. But I am really good at fighting things.
Huh. Well, I look forward to seeing you in action. Hopefully we won't have to. Huh. But if we do...
Yeah, I mentioned dodging a bomb earlier. That wasn't a joke. I was in a room that exploded, and I walked out unscathed.
It's true, they did.
I did hear that from Oka.
That's impressive.
That is impressive. So, we'll send you in first into unknown dungeons, noted.
That's not a bad idea.
maybe we can reevaluate who goes in first.
I'm joking. Mostly. It'll be you, Bait.
It's true.
You're lucky I'm trained to do this job, Rev.
I could go in first. I've already died once. I don't know if it'll take again.
No, Abiku, it's okay. When I was with the hounds, this was literally my job, was to lure the monsters out. I'm good at mimicking their sounds.
Oh.
Bait was literally my job title.
Can you talk to birds too?
Well, I mean, define talk, because I can chirp at the birds and they'll chirp back, but I don't actually quite understand what I'm saying or what they're saying.
She immediately gets uninterested.
Well, shall we, set out now? It's still pretty light in the day. We'll probably make some good progress northeast.
Sounds like a good idea. And thank you all for your help, except for you, Jaran. I appreciate it.
All right. Oh, Bolshaya. Such a shame. It's okay. We'll rebuild.
And Costas turns and begins striding north out of Bolshaya. And I think on that, the rest of you follow. And we enter, I think at this point, it's travel time, baby. It's time to get up, northeast. We can assume that you are all given maps and instructions by Elder Pohaku as well to get to the Chromium Order's headquarters. Where their headquarters are is not a secret. Like Elder Pohaku mentioned, they occasionally even give tours. Like prospective adventurers that want to join their ranks, have to visit the headquarters to, truly recruit and sign up. So this is not unheard of or unusual to get there. It's just a little remote. It's a little out of the way. It'll take a couple days by sled. And I think if you all want, Elder Pohaku will definitely offer up dog sleds for all of you. Working dogs to drag your sleds across the ice, and a couple of handlers to help with that. Elder Pohaku would volunteer this actively. We cut to a side view of just the flat Zima Lake. From horizon to horizon is just a line of just dark blue ice, right? And we see running across it, right, from south to north, like a miniature convoy, right? Like 3 sets of sled dogs pulling all of your stuff and all of you, just running like a pack of dogs, running, like breathing really heavily, looking extremely happy because these working dogs love to work. They're really, really into it, right? And their handlers are sort of like telling them to mush, feeding them, grooming them, whenever you take breaks. We watch this like line of like sleds and dogs like race across, and we also see like Bud, this massive direwolf, also running aside it with like Gentle. Gentle, what do you look like as you're running aside this convoy?
Gentle packs light, like they really don't carry a lot, so I think they are just like bulking it alongside Bud. Like this is honestly a nice workout. Gentle feels pretty good about this.
Totally, yeah, and I think there's even like a moment where Bud's running alongside. Bud towers over these huskies, right? Bud is like 2 or 3 times the size of even the biggest like lead dogs on these sleds, right? Like Bud is like hoofing it, like looking to the side at these like huskies that also like the glance, like a couple of them glance up at Bud, but they've at this point gotten used to him and they continue to run. And Bud just lets out a,
Wow, they're pretty fast. You're pretty fast too, Gentle.
They say kind of reluctantly.
Oh, I can like run on water and stuff, but you remember when I ran on water when you were like a baby?
Are you trying to impress me or something? Because that's not impressive at all.
Fair enough. I think it's a little cool.
Bud speeds up and like his tail becomes like a huge rudder that's like swipes in your face a bit and like he like pulls up like in front of you.
Bud, why don't we have a race?
Well, get ready to lose.
And like Bud gets like starts to get really, really, really fast, right? And like like pulls up in front of the dogs.
I'm gonna use a key point. I'm gonna let him win still, but I'm going to use Step of the Wind so I can like make it seem close. Yes, no, because like if I wanted to just say like screw the snow, I could just start flying, but I want him to feel like a winner.
Oh, okay. So why don't you roll performance for me?
Oh no.
Performance athletics. Let's say like it's a strength or dex performance check.
Okay. That's a bit better. That's a performance athletic. That's a funny set of words together. That is a 17 then.
It's pretty good. I think that's sufficient. Bud is real. You pull up, the two of you are neck and neck as like gusts of wind, I think are like, what does Step of the Wind like look like for you?
I think Gentle just gets even lighter on their feet. It's almost like they are dancing on like the balls of their feet, and like bouncing almost.
Into that. You like bounce from ball to ball, right, of your feet as you race against Bud, and you know you could probably overtake Bud if you tried, but you decide to make it neck and neck until like you reach like the finish line that both of you have agreed on and pointed out, maybe like a withered boulder in the distance, and it's Bud, right, beats you by like a foot, like inches past, and then like skids on the ice and looks back at you.
I beat you. I beat you.
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna give you a reward because you did do good. And just like a piece of like, I think a jerky that I've been making. All right. So you're really fast.
I know.
We should wait for everybody else. So let's take a minute to just breathe because I think we may have passed the group.
Okay. You know how I got so fast, Gentle? You want to know how?
How?
Sybil would let me run around the monster fighting pit, all around the inside, all around, and they would time me, and they'd say, wow, you've gotten fast, it's a minute off, oh, now it's just a few seconds off, and now it's 30 seconds off, and that's how fast I got.
I mean, if we want to race while we're here more, and then like sort of keep little timers, I'm fine with that, if you'd like that.
Well, Sybil said I've peaked, so I don't know how much extra speed I'm gonna take off my time with you.
You can just run for fun. If you had a good time, that's enough.
Bud considers this like the big black eyes looking at you, and you swear they like angle their shoulders open a little bit more to you. But at that point, like the sled dogs have caught up, and they run past this boulder, and Bud goes, anyway, we don't want to get left behind.
Yeah, we should. But if you want to have any more races, I promise, I'll make time.
Only if you give me treats at the end. I'm still mad at you. And Bud turns
I
and
know.
starts going. And I think later that night, we like sort of fade into darkness, and we find like the warm glow of like a campfire, like set up in like the nook of I think like a rocky overhang leading into like the opening to a cave, like a big mountain rising up out of this lake. Because this Zima Lake is a frozen lake. It is not like any other lake we have on Earth. It is massive, and there are like mountainous structures and chasms and tunnels and whatnot, like all over this lake. It's not just flat all the time. So we're in like this little rocky overhang with like fire burning at the bottom of it. And I think like as tents have been set up, there's just sort of the panting of like sleeping and dozing sled dogs, like the handlers grooming them, feeding them, giving them water, etc. And I think that's when we find Jaran. Jaran, why don't you tell us what you're up to?
So I think that maybe this is like after dinner. So we've already eaten for the night and everybody has kind of put things away and we're just like unwinding for the night. And while Jaran had spent some time with Dewey had been mentoring Jaran in the ways of the artificer. So he had gotten some lessons from Dewey about like how to create different sort of like machines and things like that, how to sort of harness the weave into these in order to like quote unquote like cast spells. And Jaran is kind of practicing that right now, I think. So he's taking his arm, which I think is sort of the main way that he tries to like cast magic, and he is sort of tinkering around with it and trying to cast detect magic in the area, knowing that there are people here, there are things here that are magical. So he has a very sort of theoretically like very like immediate feedback on whether or not they're actually doing it correctly. So they're just kind of like tinkering with their arm and like looking around. Maybe like looking at V in particular, knowing that she is probably the most powerful magic spellcaster that we have in the party.
I think V can like, she feels the weave when it's doing stuff, and she can sort of, she's getting these vibes, and you probably at a couple of times, because you're probably like, I assume Jaran's like looking over at V a few times, and I imagine at some point their glances meet. I think also V would notice like Jaran practicing magic and be a little interested, but trying to feign disinterest, because, you know, she does know a lot about magic at this point, or at least intuitively knows a lot about magic, maybe not intellectually, theoretically. And I think when their eyes catch, I think V kind of like stands up and maybe, I think just kind of like walks away a little bit.
Having caught V's eye, Jaran is going to sort of follow her with their eyes as she walks away, and kind of is confused and curious about why she's leaving and where she's going. So Jaran will get up and follow. Not like in a sneaky way, like making it very clear that Jaran is approaching.
I think V's used to like checking over her shoulder and stuff, and so after a moment, and they're like a little bit further away, so that, you know, small talk at a normal pitch and volume wouldn't be heard from the group. V, I think, just calls out, Jaran, what are you doing?
I just wanted to see where you were headed. Just wanted to make sure you're not, you know, getting lost in the area. What exactly are you looking for?
V turns back. Since I found out that it's quite possible that the Paragons are going to be dying, I kind of try to make it a point of like really looking at Andake. I know it's real dark right now. We don't get the stars to light up the night, but I like to just sort of take it all in, possibly for the last time.
And Jaran just kind of like takes in the weight of what V has said. I can't fault you for that. Not much, though, I think, that you're gonna see in the darkness in the middle of nowhere. But I mean, do you want somebody to walk with you, to look with you?
I don't want you.
V, I understand how you're feeling, or at least I can imagine how you must be feeling. But like Rev said, we're all, for better or for worse, working together now, so I think, could you at least try?
This is me trying.
Are you sure? Because it really doesn't feel like it.
When I had to look in Oka's eyes as Oka was telling me what happened in Dabathati, look, I care deeply for Oka. Of everyone I've met in this past year, other than, say, Rev or Lotus, I would do anything for Oka. And seeing the way that you hurt them, I'm not gonna just sit here and forgive you and pretend like everything's okay.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking you to understand that I would do anything for Oka too. That's maybe what got me here in the first place.
In the life that I've led, it takes one mistake to wind up dead, and I trusted Dewey only to nearly find myself completely ripped apart in the nothing plane because of someone that Dewey trusted.
V, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What would you do to keep Lotus alive, to keep Rev alive?
I would fight the stranger and die for Andake. If my death would keep Rev, Oka, the rest of the Paragons alive, and Lotus, I would throw myself at the stranger immediately.
I think you and I are not as different as you think we are, V.
That may be true, but in what we're doing now, trust is everything. And if you think I'm just going to turn on trust for you, gravely mistaken.
You don't have to trust me.
Yes, no, I do. With what we're doing, I have to trust you. People are trying to kill the Paragons.
So, what will it take then? What will it take to make sure that the mission that we're on right now, that it succeeds? That we have the trust that we need not to fail?
That's for something for you to think about and figure out yourself, and I'll know it when I see it. And V starts to walk away.
And I think Jaran stays and thinks about what V had said about looking at Andake, ever since realizing that this is maybe the last time that she will actually ever get to see it. And knowing that this is also possibly the last time that Oka will see Andake, I think Jaran just kind of looks around at Moroz, at the lake, the frozen over lake, the darkness, and tries to commit it to memory so that he can describe it for Oka when they meet again.
And I think on that, dawn comes. And we cut to yet another montage of the dogs running, just running for miles and miles and hours over this frozen expanse of lake. We see various towns in the distance, little shanty towns of various ice sculptures, their own dowels punched out of the surface, their own tapestries weaving around their towns, which is Morozan tradition, of course. We pass by various caverns, various hillocks, frozen over with icy rocks. We pass by fresh expanse of just air, frigid, just blowing at your faces, at your hair, prickling tears into existence in your eyes, until yet another night falls, right? Another day passes, another camp is struck and erected. And I think on this, next tonight, right, in this leg of the journey, we find Gentle. Gentle, what are you doing at camp?
I've brewed some tea, and I think if it's late enough, Bud's probably already went to bed. And I'm probably just sitting somewhere looking up the sky. just quiet, enjoying it.
Gentle, as you're just sitting there, taking a load off, right? Enjoying the dinner you've just cooked for everyone, looking at Bud, looking out at the starless dark beyond the paltry light shed by your fire. V, is that when we find you approaching, or how do you make an entrance?
I think, yeah, V is gonna, digesting food and maybe find a spot, not on the complete opposite side of the bonfire, but maybe a 45 to 90 degree angles, so it's close, but not too close and not completely too far. And I think V's gonna be like, so did you really survive a bomb?
I think Gentle sits up a little bit. Yeah, no, it was like a mail bomb thingy. It was left for Oka, and I was the only one around because everyone fought right before then. Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't cool. It was kind of cool that I didn't get hurt, but it was a lot of noise, which wasn't great.
Well, I'm sorry about the noise, but I consider myself a pretty agile person, but to survive unscathed, a bomb blowing up in the same room, I gotta say, that's impressive.
Guess. It's just my body kind of moves on its own sometimes when there's danger. Just instincts. Once we fought a big empty beast on a lake, so I ran on the lake, and that was also one of those things. It just kind of happens sometimes.
The lake made of water.
Yeah. No, I can run on water a little bit, and if a wall is, I can run up walls if I have a decent head start.
That's really cool, Gentle.
Is it? There's probably other people who can do that.
Sure, there might be others, but I've been around for a long time, and let me tell you, that's not an everyday occurrence. You see people running on water, or I saw you running with those. You were literally running faster than the dogs pulling our sleds the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all part of practice and training and everything.
You're very humble.
I mean, I'm not good at compliments. They're a lot.
Okay, I mean, I don't have to compliment you if you prefer, if it's uncomfortable for you.
No, compliments are good, and I should be able to accept them. But I'm not good at accepting them, so this is a thing I should practice more.
Would you like me to help practice?
Sure.
I hear from Oka that you gave a pretty good speech in Dabathati.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, no, I just said what I felt about everything and how important it is for us to work together and build connections instead of finding hope in people who might take advantage of it. I didn't like how much people were finally throwing their faith into something when there was a lot of people getting hurt from it, including bombs in a room randomly.
That's a very valid point. After I received Scott and Nectis, I was put in front of the people of the championship of the ball and had to impromptu speak to everybody. And a lot of things you're saying actually is the things I was telling people is that, there's hope and it requires us though working together. So I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of us are here because we do want to make Andake better and save everybody. And I don't think anyone's here on accident, if that makes sense.
I've been learning anything this past year. It's that it doesn't seem like much of this is an accident at all.
Yeah, I'm not the most plugged in on I'm not good at all of the history or mythology to everything. I'd say I'm in the moment, but I don't know if that's honest either. But I like to do what I can, which is being fast and helping people.
Can I be honest with you then?
Of course.
If I had met you a year ago, I would have ripped you off so badly.
That makes sense. That's what Sybil did, because I was very trusting.
Yeah. Very easy mark, but I just want you to know that everyone I've talked to who knows you, I mean mainly Oka, speaks very highly of you.
Thank you. And can I say that I'm proud of you for growing to the point that you wouldn't rip me off?
Look, it's not too late for me to rip you off. You may be very dexterous, but I've got some very, very dexterous hands myself.
I believe you, but I also believe that you wouldn't do that anymore. Not unless it was like for a game.
At least putting forward the thought that my time here is short, I want to try to live in a way that if and when I die, I can be proud of these final few months of my life.
That's fair. I hope that these aren't the final few months of your life.
The strange part of being a paragon is I feel like I just have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
If it makes you feel better, someone who isn't a paragon, that's what I do every day too.
I like you, Gentle.
I like you too. I do hope that you and Jaran become more friendly. That would be nice, but one thing at a time.
Yeah, let's just enjoy this moment. And, if things happen between Jaran and I will be open to the possibility that maybe if something unpredictable happens that I can't foresee in my mind, maybe Jaran and I will find a reason to trust each other.
All I'm hearing is there's a chance, and that's enough.
Look, when you're playing cards or mahjong, there's always a chance, right?
Exactly.
Unless the table is rigged.
And it wouldn't be.
I sure hope not.
It was nice to get to talk to you out here. I'm used to spending a lot of my nights like this alone while everyone else are in like tents and doing what the hounds do. But this was a nice conversation to have this late at night.
Normally I'd be with Rev right now, but it's nice to do something different than the same thing every single night. You know how it. No, wait, no, you seem uncomfortable. Wait, but no,
It's fine.
And then both of you just hear a voice being like, V, where are you? I got the thing working again. Where, huh?
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, Gentle, it was great to have a conversation with you. Let's do this again sometime.
Of course.
It's awkward, like, good night, goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow.
Have a nice night. I'll see you tomorrow. And I think for Gentle, it's just a soft chuckle and a sip of tea, and just some things don't change.
Yep.
I think V stand up sort of almost skippingly towards the tent and just dives in.
On the tent flaps flapping, right? We're going to transition to a brand new day. dogs running across the ice, the handlers mushing. And just like the previous 2 days, it's just the expanse of Zima, various villages, a few sparse travelers on the road that you're passing here and there, big icy caverns, stalagmites punching out of the ground, parts where the ice sort of cracks and breaks off into these, like, I think hot pool springs, like natural hot pool, like vents, like that rise out of pockets just on the hardened ice underneath you. And everything seems to be going as normal on this third day of travel until I think one of the handlers calls back at your party, their voice booming over this expanse of air. Hey, Equilibrium, right? I see a traveler up ahead, but they seem to be alone and they're stumbling a little. Should we slow down?
Yes?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah?
slow down. What do they look like?
I can't really tell. Come on. And like this Morozy handler like tells the dogs to slow down, and all across all three sleds, like the dogs begin to slow down to I think a sprightly trot. And all of you see. Why don't all of you roll perception for me?
Nat 20!
What? I also got a nat 20 for a total of 34.
Nat 1.
Okay, my total is 23. So not nearly as good as Abiku.
We got a 34, 23, 12, and a 1.
Gentle's just living their best life.
Oh my god.
Probably yelling at Bud.
Gentle's like,
We're
what
arguing.
person?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Gentle,
said
I think,
person,
yeah.
and I turned on my telescopic eyes. I can't see what they look like. Oh, I'll get it.
Oh my god, yeah, you just... Yeah. Gentle, I think you're nat 1. Tell me what that means, what that looks like.
I think that I was simply like, probably Bud and I were like having another tiff.
I think so, yeah. I think Bud is being rather argumentative, rather obstinate this morning, because this came on the heels of your conversation with V. And you get the sense as like Bud's like running alongside you, refusing to talk, and you're trying to get them to open up, that they were upset you didn't spend time with them last night. Like the little bit of conversation you had with me. I know, but they were like, you know, they seem like weirdly upset about it. You know what I mean?
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so you're wrestling with Bud about that. But Jaran and especially Abiku, the two of you are at the ready. Your eyes, like the 20s, like you gaze out over this expanse. And Abiku, you especially, you see maybe 500 meters in front of you and rapidly closing the gap. Appears to be a stumbling person. You can't tell much about, they're like wrapped up in like thick winter clothes, right? But as you get closer, Abiku, you notice this first from only like 100 meters away. Their boots are worn so thin that their feet are bleeding, leaving a trail of bloody footprints on the snow behind them. But they're determinedly, doggedly staggering and stumbling northward. And as like the dogs slow down and start to pass them a little, but like slow enough that they can be pulled to a halt at a moment's notice, all of you see that this person is a woman. A copper dragonborn woman. With this sort of like long black hair underneath this like scarf and this like headdress and this like thick like hood draped in these twin braids sort of framing her face and then stuffed into her scarves. And she's got this like dark brown skin kind of mottled again with like a sheen of shimmering like bronze coppery scales. She's got these like bright gold eyes that as the dogs pass like flick rapidly like across your party, and you notice that she's carrying a baby that's strapped in a baby Bjorn in front of her chest, and the Bjorn is made of denim. It's a denim baby Bjorn, a Bjorn if you will, and she's just staggering and stumbling. And V, you recognize her. This is the dragonborn woman that was giving birth in the Butte, the very night of the Cataclysm. And on that, we are gonna end the session there. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Arc 6, Episode 2 of the Morozy Group. I have been your GM and executive producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on Twitter, TikTok, Itch, and what's my other thing? Ko-Fi at by Connie Chang. That's BYCONNIECHANG. I'm going to pass along introductions up and over to Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare. I've done nothing wrong, like I said earlier. You can find me on all parts of the internet at Dare to Dream RPG, DARE, the number 2, DREAM. I forgot how to spell for a second, RPG. I write and perform and do a million things. Just catch me on the internet where I'm not a problem and I'm playing masks way too much. I swear, it's a problem at this point. And I'm going to throw it down to Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica, she, her pronouns, and I played V, and I'm telling the truth sometimes, not sure so. And you can find me at Erica Newgirl on Twitter, and particularly here on Twitch, where I am a streamer. Come hang out. It'll be fun, I promise. I will pass it on to Humna.
Hello, everybody. My name is Humna. I use any and all pronouns, and today I was playing Jaran Gather, who can't catch a break. I am a TTRPG performer, and you can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. If you like what I do and you want to see more of it, follow me there, and I will pass it up to Austin.
Hey everybody, I'm Austin. You can follow me on Twitter at @SailorScottAustin, at Sailor SCT Austin. Realize at the top I didn't say to do. I'm a game and narrative designer, and I also perform sometimes, like here. So you hit me up on Twitter, and I talk about other times I perform and make games. That's me.
Heck yeah. So everyone, thank you so much again for tuning in to the kickoff of the Moroz group. We will be back in 2 weeks for continuations of this party's exploits. Again, we stream Saturdays for Transplanar RPG at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We love y'all so much. We will see you in a week for the Jukai group. Can you all believe what happened at the end of the Jukai party? I mean, the freaking... Adeline? We'll see. Anyway, bye. We love you so much.